Elena Voss Carter stood still. I swear, if that were me, I don't know if I'd stay that calm. Even when the woman screamed inches from her face, even when that finger tapped the Jeep's windshield like it belonged to her, the nail clicked once, twice, 3 times, each tap louder than the last. She needs to move this vehicle. She's not above the law. She's not special. Elena didn't blink, didn't flinch, didn't speak. She watched, not the woman, the crowd behind her. She was counting faces, allies, witnesses. The metal sign shook behind them. Private property, now slightly crooked. Like a warning no one read. She didn't keep the house because she needed a place to stay. She kept it because someone once believed this street was a place to live, not a place to be pushed out. The floors creaked the same way they did in 1996. That was the year her grandmother replaced the old carpet, not because it was torn, because she said bare wood, reminded people that things had history. The front steps still leaned left. Elena never fixed them. She liked the tilt. It made the porch feel honest. A cane rested behind the door, smooth oak, polished by age. No one had touched it in years, but it stood there, upright, like it still had something to say. In the dining room, a photo, matte frame, worn corners. Her grandmother sat in uniform, navy hat straight, smile tight, pride visible. Next to the frame, a trophy. Veteran's Widow of the Year, 1998. The brass had dulled, but the memory hadn't. Every inch of the house had breath in it. Not the kind that shouts, the kind that remembers. Elena moved back in 4 months ago. No press, no announcement. She came with 1 bag and 1 box. The box held documents. The bag held a uniform, folded so tightly the creases looked permanent. She didn't unpack for a week, just walked the yard, counted cracks in the driveway. Let the old dog next door sniff her boots before wagging. People noticed but didn't ask. Some waved, some didn't. She watched patterns. Trash bins moved too early. Security patrols slowed in front of her gate. Letters arrived unsigned. HOA warnings with no signature, just a stamp and a rule number. She didn't reply, didn't react, because she wasn't waiting for permission. She was waiting for confirmation. Tonight, she got it. That woman's voice, that finger. They were just the flare. What Elena really saw was the curtain shift. Top window, house 2 doors down. Someone watched, had been watching. The woman screamed at her face, but Elena wasn't listening to her. She was listening to the silence behind the glass, and remembering who used to stand there, who never raised their voice, and still ran the whole block. The clipboard clicked shut, sharp, measured, like the end of a sentence no one asked to hear. She didn't knock, didn't call out. Just stepped onto the lawn, heels slicing clean lines through the Bermuda grass Elena had never watered. A woman in a navy blazer, blonde hair tied tight, lips pressed, posture straight. Not a neighbor, not a friend. She walked like the sidewalk belonged to her. Elena didn't move, didn't open the door. She watched through the screen, barely a breath between them and the glass. The woman stopped at the Jeep, unfolded a sheet of paper, raised one hand, pressed it slow against the windshield, held it there. 1, 2, 3 seconds. A silent signature, not of ink, but of confidence. The kind people borrow when they think no one's watching. The kind HOA boards love to wear like armor. Then came the pen, a dark blue, extra fine Pilot G2. She clicked it once, didn't use it, just held it. Let it be seen. Elena's eyes locked on the pen. That model, always carried by Darla McKenna Riles, president of the HOA, proud veteran of every zoning debate this side of the county line, and self-appointed guardian of community standards. The woman turned, didn't smile, didn't wave, just nodded. The way people nod when they think you owe them thanks for the warning. The wind caught her hat, red, structured, fitted tight, Make America Great Again. The letters weren't loud, but they screamed in a place like this. As she walked away, Elena noticed something new. A wooden stake, clean cut, nailed into the patch of mulch near the fence. Fresh earth, still damp. The sign on top read, Vehicle in violation, Code 3.2.4, non-operational unit on visible property. It wasn't just a paper now. They'd planted something, on her land. Elena stepped outside, slow, silent, not to stop her, just to see the back of the woman's neck as she left. She counted again. Step, step, step. She's done this before, Elena thought, to others who didn't stay, who gave up. But she wasn't them. She looked down at the stake, then up at the Jeep. She smiled, just slightly, the kind of smile that makes you want to check what law you just broke. Sometimes you see something, and it stays with you longer than it should. Maybe it's the way they act like no one will push back. I've been there, watching, quiet, wondering if silence is enough. If this story stayed with you, tell me where it hit. And if you want more like this, you'll know where to find it. Elena didn't pull the paper off the windshield. Not yet. She just looked at it. Top left corner, rule number, bottom right, a code. She didn't look angry. She looked curious. The kind of curious that gets people indicted. That document wasn't official. She knew that font, sharp serif, slightly off center. That only showed up in draft memos. The kind that aren't meant to be posted. The kind that haven't cleared legal review. She tilted her head. Someone jumped the gun, posted something illegal on federal property, and now it was hers to keep. She stepped back inside, didn't slam the door, didn't even close it all the way. Straight to the drawer by the kitchen window, top right, where the old recipe cards used to be. Now it held evidence bags, clean, labeled, Ziplocs lined and sealed. She pulled one out. Then from a small tin, a crumpled foil square, its edges worn, the corner still marked 37EW, an old tag. Her unit used it for field coordination, on objects too small to track. She slipped the foil into the bag, pressed the seal, slid it behind the rearview mirror on the Jeep. It wouldn't record sound. It didn't need to. That foil was signal reactive, low-frequency tag reader built in. Anything electronic that got close to the Jeep would ping. Elena checked her watch, then wiped a finger across the side mirror, not just for visibility. She was clearing the angle, making sure the dash cam inside had no smudges, no excuses. The battery had been dead for months. She reconnected it this morning. It blinked green. She didn't smile, just shifted her weight, stepped back, looked at the frame, the angles, the view from across the street. She knew where the HOA cameras were. She knew where the blind spots lived, and she knew where Darla's husband liked to park, always 2 feet into the yellow. She bent down, pressed her hand to the soil around the new stake, still moist. Fresh last night. Someone crossed the line, physically, legally, and now they were on her map. She went inside, didn't lock the door, didn't shut the blinds. She just placed the clipboard, still bearing the HOA's illegal form, onto her kitchen table, then opened her laptop. One file, titled Pre-Escalation Witness 3.2.4. The envelope was plain, no return address, just tucked neatly into the HOA mailbox. Inside, a single sheet. 2 items printed. First, a screenshot of the private HOA group chat, the part where Darla wrote, "We need to clean this place up. Start with the ones who don't match the culture." Second, a meeting invitation, stamped with the old HOA header, outdated logo, wrong font. A subtle hint for anyone paying attention, but not enough to raise alarm. They took it as official, rescheduled the weekly meeting, brought in chairs, microphones, even offered lemonade. Elena didn't attend. She was on the porch, shoes off, laptop closed, watching the sun graze the fence line like it used to when her grandmother still sat out back. At the park pavilion, they gathered, folding chairs lined up in rows, neighbors, some eager, some tired, a few just there for the cookies. Darla adjusted the mic. She was calm at first, prepared, wearing the same navy suit, same red hat. "If we want a safe neighborhood," she began, "we have to follow the rules. We can't have special treatment. We can't let one property ruin the standard." A man raised his hand. Soft voice. yarmulke barely visible under his sun hat. Sorry, could you clarify? When you say ruin the standard, who are we talking about? Darla blinked, then smiled. Too wide, too long. I'm talking about people who bring in clutter, people who think rules don't apply to them. Another hand. Middle-aged woman, nurse badge still clipped to her scrub top. I just want to ask about this message, she said, holding up the printout. The one about keeping things pure. You sent this? Murmurs spread. Elena's camera drone, silent, hovering near a lamppost, caught Darla's throat shift. That message wasn't meant. It's your username, someone said. It has your initials. I was taken out of context. More rustling, more stares. Then the man from earlier, quiet, calm, stepped forward. I've lived here 24 years. No one asked me to vote on any of this, but you told the board we all agreed. He held up a second page, time-stamped, cross-referenced. This is fabrication, Darla snapped, grabbed the mic, voice raised, trembling. If some of you don't appreciate what we're building here, a dog barked, low, drawn out. A woman shifted her chair back. No one said anything else, not yet. But no one clapped either. And from her porch, Elena took a sip of iced tea, then checked the time. The real show hadn't even started. The tow truck came at 10:17 a.m. Loud, early, no warning to anyone, except Darla's group chat. She stood at the edge of Elena's driveway, clipboard in hand, red hat tilted just right. She said she's military? Darla barked into her phone. Then she should know the rules. She waved the driver forward. Ditch that rust heap. It's making the whole street look like East Newark. The driver hesitated, looked at the Jeep, then back at her. You sure this is allowed? She's had the notice for a week, Darla snapped. Private property or not, it's a junk vehicle. Tow it. A teen from across the street filmed the whole thing, just for kicks. Uploaded it to the HOA Facebook group with one line, she touched federal property. No joke. Within hours, the post had 137 comments and one call from a city code officer, mid-30s, polite, gray polo shirt. Showed up the afternoon, walked the perimeter, paused at the stake in the mulch, then looked at the Jeep. Plate 165KS. Sticker, Federal Monitoring Division, do not tow without clearance. He pulled out his phone, dialed, waited, then turned to Darla. Ma'am, this vehicle isn't local. You just triggered a report. She laughed, short, dismissive. It's a prop. She probably bought it at a government auction. He didn't laugh back. Instead, he stepped closer, pointed to the windshield. Behind the glass, facing inward, a document, stamped, signed, federal authorization, Elena's name, and her unit. Darla squinted, reached forward, pulled the paper out, held it, flipped it, scoffed, then tore it, dropped it. That was the moment. The teen's camera caught it. Not Elena's, not a setup. Just someone who finally pressed record. The clip spread faster than HOA notices ever did. The comment pinned to the top. She really thought she ran this place? Elena watched from inside. Didn't move, didn't post. She just opened her file drawer, pulled out the original document, perfectly intact. She laid it flat. Next to a flash drive. Label, Incident 3.2.4, compiled footage. Then, quietly, she picked up the envelope from earlier, added one line on the back. For distribution, all residents. The wind had changed, softer now, cooler across the porch. Elena stepped out barefoot, holding a wooden sign, old, cracked. The paint faded, but the letters still read, Voss Residence Established. Ayrıtı torlayrıtı arıbıtı arı. It had been removed 3 years ago, part of the HOA beautification plan. Too rustic, they said, too personal. She pressed it against the post by the gate. Same nail, same angle, but she didn't hammer it, flush, just slightly tilted. Enough to notice, enough to remember. Across the street, a curtain moved. An old man peeked through. Didn't smile, just nodded once, small, slow. From the house next door, a dog barked once. Not loud, just habit. Elena didn't wave, didn't stay. She turned and went back inside. The lawn was still patchy, the mailbox still leaned, but the Jeep was untouched now, washed clean by accident or purpose. Near the curb, a crumpled paper drifted with the wind, white, wrinkled. Notice of violation still faintly visible. It caught beneath a tire as a car rolled past, flattened, forgotten. No one picked it up. At the next HOA meeting, there were fewer chairs, fewer voices, no red hats, no mention of Elena, no questions asked. But someone had cleaned the community bulletin board, and beneath the clear plastic, pinned at the bottom, was a small slip of paper. Please verify all notices before acting. No signature, no accusation, just there, waiting. At home, Elena poured 1 cup of coffee, sat by the window, watched nothing in particular. Her boots were still by the door, polished, unused. She reached into the drawer, took out the flash drive. No need for it anymore. Slid it into a plain envelope, sealed it, labeled, for archive. Then opened the screen door, let it creak once, held it for the breeze. Somewhere behind her, a clock ticked. Somewhere outside, the world went on. And the old wooden sign stayed tilted. Not broken, not hidden, just slightly wrong, like a scar healed on its own time. Some signs stay tilted, not because they're broken, but because someone remembers exactly when they were removed. And sometimes, that's enough. A name carved in old wood, a paper left to rot in the wind, a porch light that stays off, but never burned out. The world has its ways of warning us. Don't mistake silence for surrender. Don't mistake calm for absence. There are people who don't yell, don't chase, don't post. They just wait. They keep records. They count. Faces, lies, steps. And when the moment's right, they don't fight loud. They restore what should have been left alone. The lawn grows again. The curtain falls back. The scar stays. Not erased, but accepted. Maybe justice isn't about winning. Maybe it's about keeping one place, one name, untouched by people who never understood it. Some things don't need to be fought for. As long as someone's still watching, still thinking, still there, just enough to make sure the next hand pauses before it dares reach where it shouldn't. Because in the end, not everything worth protecting needs to raise its voice.